And welcome to We Are Unique. Thanks for joining me once again. We're talking all about disabilities and autism on my show. If you want to be a guest on my show, please contact the studio at wau@europentv.com. And my first guest is Mark Reintup. Thanks for joining me, Mark.
You're welcome.
On today's show. And obviously we're going to be talking more about autism as we've been doing on previous shows. So can you tell me a little bit about your autism and when you got diagnosed?
Yeah, funnily enough, with my autism, I was diagnosed a bit later on. I was at university at the time, and it was about sort of 2008, 2009. I had a test near to the campus that I was on, and I sort of had simple English and maths tests, and I was told then that that I had it. But I reckon I should have been diagnosed a little bit early, because when I was at high school, I was told that I had it because one of the teachers went up to my adopted mum at the school and said, "I reckon your son has Asperger's," and I didn't know what to think of that at the point, because I wasn't aware of it and I didn't take it too well. But as I've got older, I've got more used to it and I'm more aware of what it's about. And yeah, it was about then, and I'm more accepting of myself and of other people who've got it, so it was about them really.
So what age did you think that there may have been something wrong or something was amiss, or you didn't feel right? Can you recall that age? Or
it sort of, I know it's difficult to tell you, but I know when I was at high school, I know I was very reserved. I didn't socialise with people. I kept myself to myself. I would go in the library, I would read the newspaper. I wouldn't know how to talk to people or communicate what to say. I was never a chatty person. I got bullied for that. I reckon I would have been about 12 or 13 when that happened. But at that time I was really unaware of what was going on, what was wrong with me. But yeah, I'm like I say, I'm more aware of that now, and that I realise there was a reason why that happened, and now I'm more aware of what I have. And
so did you find when you were at school and you were being bullied, as you just mentioned,
yeah.
Did you find that children wouldn't hang around with you or be friends with you?
Yeah. I mean, there was too many times where people would not just come and talk to me. I would struggle to socialise, make friends, know what to communicate. Also, I noticed with like PE, for example, where I would be picked last when it came to sort of deciding what team or who would go in what team for like football or rounders or something like that. And I noticed that, but I never knew why. And that did upset me a little bit, but I don't think I was upset as much as I maybe should have been. But I think it was all a blur sort of back then. I was so unaware of what was going on at school and within myself. So yeah, it was quite hurtful on that.
Yeah. So when you got the label, when you got diagnosed as being autistic, did that change anything for you? Did you feel better, or did it help to understand about your condition?
I would say so, yeah. Certainly, I sort of, I had more of an idea, more awareness of what that was about and what that is, and I just sort of, I had to be more, try and make, how to describe it, sort of make a bit more of an effort with people if I can, and yeah, I maybe held back a bit in terms of telling people what I had, because there are some judgmental people out there and some people are not aware of it, but I felt that I would only just tell people that I could trust, or I thought I could trust, and I sort of say, I have this problem, I have this is me, you've got to accept me. So yeah.
So now, as a grown adult living with autism, how does your condition affect you on a day-to-day basis?
Quite a lot. I know, and this happened when I was younger. I still do this. I tend to sort of watch TV with the lights off, and I know that sort of really bright light's going to hurt my eyes. I noticed that also being in really noisy, loud environments as well is off-putting. And say if I'm on public transport or something, I have to sort of try and get away from that if I can. So if I'm on the train, I'll try and go into a quieter carriage. Yeah, my senses are sort of overwhelmed a lot, more so than
So
ever.
if you describe to people watching today on the show, if you went into a supermarket, how would that feel for you?
Daunting. I tend to go in the early hours of the morning, or I just go late at night. I won't go necessarily in the day because I know that's where it gets really busy.
Do you feel so when you go and you've got rushing and you've got to be out straight away?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like when I'm on public transport and it can get really noisy and that, overcrowded, busy, I do feel rushed. I do feel overwhelmed, and I think it doesn't help as well. I know I've got the anxiety and depression as well, and that can sort of heighten it more. But yeah, you do feel rushed and you do feel like you do need to get out there quickly. So yeah.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your acting skills, because when you left school, you started doing drama. You were doing drama at college.
I started doing the drama when I was at high school. I mean, to be honest with that just came by chance. I got dragged along by two lads in my class. They said, come and join me, or come and join us with the choir club or the drama club. And I didn't know how it was going to be. And then I liked it after a while, and I carried on going. And then I thought, you know, I'll carry on doing this after school and go to college and did performing arts. And then, yeah, I did the degree in drama at the University of Northampton, did that. And yeah, I got more of an acting bug. And my uncle, he's quite a well-known actor, and he's famous now, and he's been in lots of things, and he's worked with Hollywood celebrities. But when I did the performing arts, the drama at the time, I didn't quite know why. But as I've got older, the reason why I do it is because I sort of see it as a form of escapism from the sort of tough life I've had, because I've had a very tough upbringing. And also, I know with autistic people generally, and this makes a lot of sense, having spoken to autistic people, I tend to find that they are creative-minded, and they are into these sort of things. So they all kind of make sense now why I love doing it.
So would you say then your autism has helped you with drama and performing arts? Has it helped you to socialise and interact with them better, or? Yeah,
and the thing is with that, you could be a character for an hour or two, just get away from it all, not think about it, and you not think about yourself in real life, and it's a form of escapism. You're just submerged in something else. You're away from reality.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
It's kind of therapeutic.
Yeah, it's really interesting what you just said there about, when you are acting, you are portraying your persona as you being somebody else, because a lot of women on the spectrum, as you probably read, a lot of girls who don't get diagnosed with autism, they actually act in the real world.
Yeah.
So, they become somebody else, or they mimic other people, other friends, because they don't want to feel how their autism affects them on a daily basis. So they actually mimic other people. And I have heard a lot of women on the spectrum who actually say that they act their autism. So would you say that's true?
Yeah, definitely. I think so. Yeah. And I know the little lad who was in the film with me, that you cast me in. He's into acting, and he loves acting, and he's autistic, and he loves doing it as well.
So tell us a little bit about that, the film you got involved with.
Yeah, well, you cast me in that film, and I auditioned here up in Stoke, and I played your dad, and I think the whole process was really fun, because we had a lot of people on the autistic spectrum who was autistic, so not just the crew but the cast as well. And it was sort of 2 or 3 months, and the film went really well. I think the film's gone down really well. It's called Twin Brothers Worlds Apart. It's coming out on DVD in May, and I think people are going to like it. And the whole idea of the film and why you made that film, because it was about you and your twin brother, it was just to raise awareness of autism through your story. And I was happy to play your dad, and everyone had a fun time. And I think anyone who buys a DVD will like it. And I reckon after, you know, when the film comes out, I'm hoping that after that, people be more aware of autism and what it's about.
So, parents and children and adults watching this today, the show today, would you encourage them to get involved in drama and acting?
Yes,
do you
definitely.
think it would help their confidence, their self-esteem?
Yes, I do. I mean, and there's a thing called drama therapy, and I don't know a lot about that, but from my point of view, I sort of see it as like therapeutic in my own kind of way. I do think like the arts should be accessible to all, not just the elite or certain people. So yeah, I do think they should definitely get involved, and now I can have fun.
Yeah, because recently there was some research out in the States about karate, martial arts, which helps people with autism. What would you say about that? Would you say that it does help people? And why would you say martial arts and karate help people on the spectrum? So there's been some published research saying that when young children get involved in karate, self-defense, it helps them immensely. Why would you think that as a person living with autism?
I don't know a lot about that. I mean, it's news to me, but I reckon it's sort of a form of discipline.
Yeah.
It's sort of if it sort of channels.
Do you think it's because it's more focused sport, because the instructor who's teaching the child to do martial arts and karate, it's quite focused and it's quite routine? So do you think maybe children on the spectrum and adults get in that zone where they concentrate and, you know, end up coming out being black belts with 6 Dan?
Possibly, yeah. But I do think you know, autistic people, or especially autistic children, they can harbour emotions and they need an outlet, and martial arts is a good way of doing that. And perhaps, I just think that's one way why they do it in the States, and also I think it's maybe as a form of discipline as well, because you can learn a lot from doing that, and and you can grow from it. That's the important thing.
So what would you like to do in the future? What would your ultimate career be? Because you're quite young now, you are 28?
No, 29.
Oh, 29?
Yeah.
So you're 29 at the moment, so what's your future aspirations? What do you want to be in life?
Well, I like to do more of the acting and hopefully be a bit more successful in that, while all the time trying to raise awareness of autism as much as I can, because I think, it's not being talked about enough. There needs to be more awareness of it. And there are certain celebrities who are on the autistic spectrum who carved out a career, and it can be done. And
can you name any of them?
I can't remember what their names are now. Who was it now? It was one of the male actors anyway. I read about it the other day and I can't remember the name. But they do exist. And there was a programme I've been watching called The Chase. One of the chasers, she's on.
Oh
she's
yeah,
autistic.
she's got Asperger. Yeah.
Yeah, she's called Anne.
Anne Egerty.
That's the one.
Even though I don't watch it.
Yeah. You get famous people, people in the public eye who can carve out a career despite what they're limited to. And no matter what disability or learning difficulty you have, I feel at the end of the day, if you've put your mind out there, you can achieve anything.
Well, Mark, thank you ever so much for joining me on today's show of We Are Unique. And if you've got any comments or suggestions about the show, or even if you want to be a guest on my show, do email the studio. And we'll be right back just after this break.